Okay, good morning, guys. Okay, can you guys hear me? Just reply me in the chat if you can hear me, so that I will start with today's session. We already, we're past 11:01, so a couple of minutes to allow other people to join. Reply me in the chat if you can hear me. Okay, yes, okay. So Akash and Ashwini has, they have replied that you guys can hear me. So today, okay, let's start the sales 11:02. So we'll not wait any longer for others to join. Uh, Let me just share my screen with you. Okay. So basically, what we did in the last lecture is we gone through the basic concepts of levers. What is lever? Why it is used, how it is used, what are different classes of lever, and then we have gone through the procedure also for the design of the lever, right? So today's lecture we will take a numerical, right? So I have a numerical which we'll try to solve and design the lever, right? But before that, I just quickly in 5 to 10 minutes we'll just go through the procedure of the design of the lever once again, so that you can understand the numerical clearly. Okay, so let me just quickly go through. First of all, we have gone through what is lever and what are different classes of lever. We have gone through that, and then there are basically three steps for the design of the lever, right? Uh, First is, okay, let me just go to that slide quickly. I will go to that. This is the last slide which we have gone through. There are three steps. First is force analysis, then design of the arm and design of the fulcrum pin. So while designing a lever, okay, before proceed, any doubt, any question, queries, put that in the chat as usual. Okay, I will be keeping a watch on the chat and I will keep checking it now and then. Okay, so the procedure for design of a lever is, have three steps. First is for doing the force analysis. So what are different classes of the lever. Depending on the class of the lever, one, two, or three. One will have fulcrum in between. Two and three will have fulcrum on the side. And depending on the position of the load and effort, you will have class two and three. So we know about it. So we'll try to do the analysis of the forces. We will try to find out what are the forces acting on the arm and acting on the fulcrum pin. So fulcrum pin will have a reaction, right? It will have a reactive force in it. We have load and effort on the arms of the lever, and your fulcrum pin have reaction. So that reactive force or reaction force, it will make that fulcrum pin fail. So to do the design of the fulcrum pin, you need to know R, that reactive force. And to know R, we need to know load and effort and where they are located. So depending on that, we can find out the reaction. Because if it is, a straight one line kind of what you can say, lever, then its addition of this effort and this thing will be your reaction. But if they have some kind of angle in between the lever arm, so the effort arm and the load arm, they have angle in between like a bell crank lever. So in that case, your R will not be simple addition. It will be, we have to find out the R using mathematical formula, and then we will use that R for the design of the fulcrum pin. Now the fulcrum pin will fail because of the shear or because of the crushing, right? So if the D is the diameter and L is the length, then D into L will be the area which is avoiding the crushing, right? And that you will take for the failure of the pin, or the for the design of the pin, and then use that to verify whether it will fail in shear. Shear will be pi by 4 d square. If the fulcrum pin diameter is d, then pi by 4 d square will be the area of the fulcrum pin, and it will be double shear, so multiplied by 2. So this is how you will do the design of the fulcrum pin. A design of the arm is very simple. You know the load, you know the length. then you have to just find out the cross section. Now the cross section, the arm will fail mainly because of the bending, because it's a lengthy, what I can say, lengthy part. So it will fail because of it will bend and it will fail. So for that you will use the bending equation. M upon I is equal to sigma B upon Y. Here M is equal to MB, bending moment, which is load into distance of load arm, or effort into effort arm, right? So that will be the moment MB. M upon I will be your cross sectional moment of inertia, depending on the cross section. If it is rectangular, it is a BD cube by 12. If it is circular, pi by 64 d raised to 4. So depending on what kind of rod you have, the cross section you have, you will do the design of the lever arm. So M upon I is equal to sigma B upon Y. Sigma B is allowable bending stress, which is sigma T, and Y is this. If it is circle, it is pi d by 2. If it is, depending on the rectangular cross section, it is the distance of the extreme fiber from the neutral axis, right? So we'll just quickly go through whatever we talked. I know I talked because I did not open the screen because I wanted you guys to visualize it. Now we'll just quickly go through the whatever we talked just quickly. So the mechanical advantage is what? It's the load upon effort. So if your load is more and your effort is required is less, then you have positive mechanical advantage. Positive in the sense more than one mechanical advantage, and so that is always advisable to have that. Okay, so first we will do the force analysis. As we talked about force, F load into L2 effort into L1. So L2 upon L1 is your leverage, so your effort should be less than your load. So, and now to find out if it is, as I said, if it is 180, angle between both arms is 180, then the calculation of R is very simple, straightforward. It is F plus P, right? But if it has an angle like a bell crank lever, then we will use this, this equation, F square plus P square minus 2 FP cos theta, right? So if they, where is the theta is the angle between them. So this will give the reactive force at the R, and so we need to know R to do the design of the fulcrum pin, right? So now once we know this, once we know R and once we F and P, then we can do the design of the this is the design of the lever arm, right? In that cross section we have to design, and it may be rectangular or oval or circular, and we have I have given you formulas for that. So okay, this is the design of the lever arm. It is BD cube by 12 if it is rectangular cross section. In that case, Y will be D by 2. And it is if it is elliptical, it is pi by 64 BA cube. And if it is circular, pi by 64 D raised to 4. So using sigma B is equal to MB upon I into Y, we will calculate dimensions or the cross section of the lever arm.
Yes,
Okay, anybody is having, I can hear someone is saying something. Any doubt? Anybody is having? Okay, someone is not mute. I think Danish.
Mic mute करो.
Danish, okay, mute kar. Yes, thank you, boss. So, uh, basically, we'll do the design of the lever arm. Basically, we'll do the design of the cross section using this bending equation. Sigma B is equal to MB upon I into Y. I will again repeat. Sigma B is bending, allowable bending stress, which is sigma T we take. MB is bending moment, load into load arm, distance of load arm, or effort into distance of effort arm. I is equal to whatever we have formulas for that, and Y is distance of extreme fiber from the neutral axis, which is D by 2 in case of circular cross section, again, or D by 2 in case of rectangular cross section. Now we'll just quickly go through the formulas for these are the formulas: BH cube by 12 or BD cube by 12, whatever you want to call it, for this rectangular cross section. H is equal to H by 2 or D by 2. For elliptical, it is pi by 64 A cube B. For circular, A and B is same, so it becomes pi by 64 D raised to 4. Okay, so these are the common sections we'll use. Sometimes we use I also. That in that case, this is the equation for BH cube minus BH cube by 12, right? So these are the general cross sections we use for the design of the lever arm, and then we have a design of the fulcrum pin. As we talked about, to design the fulcrum pin, we must know the R, reactive force R, and then once we know R is equal to what you can say load, stress is equal to load upon effort. R is the load, area is D1 into L1. So P is your allowable bearing pressure. So if we know the limit or allowable bearing pressure P, then we can find out D1 or L1 if their ratio is known, right? So using this equation, sigma C is equal to P upon DL or D1 L1. Okay, so this is how we will do the design. 3 steps: doing the force analysis, finding out F, P and R, then doing the design of the lever arm, design of the cross section of the lever arm, and then doing the design of the fulcrum pin, finding out the diameter and length of fulcrum pin and the boss. Okay, so this is the procedure for the design of the lever. Okay, anybody is having any doubt? After this, we will go for the numerical. Let me just close this presentation. Okay, by the way, now I will start a video. Basically it's a numerical we are having on this. Let me just okay, so anybody has any doubt? No doubt. Okay, put that in a chat. So we have completed the theory part. Now we'll try to go through the numerical for design of the lever. Okay, by now we have finished all the whatever syllabus has suggested. We have covered all of it. So we from the start basic concept. We spent a lot of time on the understanding of basic concepts and what is design, what are different materials. We have spent I think we have spent a lot of time. I think this is 13th lecture we are having on the unit number 1 itself. So I have given so that you guys are comfortable, I have given enough time for the unit 1. But today we will we'll be finishing unit number 1 once we are done with the numerical of the lever. Okay, so after this I will put a presentation on my Google classroom, because I promised you guys that once the unit is finished I will share the presentation with you guys, so you don't need to worry about it. So the presentation will be shared on the Google Classroom. You can take a look at there. Then all the videos I have already shared, all the videos, each and every video I have shared with number on the Google Classroom. It is available. Today's video will be also available at the end of this lecture. Do put your attendance at the end of the lecture. And as I told you, we will be finishing. We have covered all those, whatever is required. After this also you have any doubt, sure, put that in a WhatsApp message, or you can give me a call, or we can discuss in the next lecture. But most probably in the next lecture we will try to start with the next unit. If there is no doubt from anyone, or if you don't want any kind of more numericals or anything, then we will start with the next what I can say unit. But for now, after this numerical on the this design of the lever, we are done with the unit number 1. Okay, so let's start. Let me just start that video for you guys. It's a numerical on the lever. I'm just starting the video. I wanted, it's a basically, because it's a numerical, I have solved that on the blackboard. So I will share that with you. Okay. Let me just share my screen with you guys. Okay. In between, I will be checking the chats. Any doubt? If you are not able to hear anything like that, okay.
Good morning, guys.
Started.
Just let today is kind of last sound of the lecture for the unit number 1. In this, we will try to cover a numerical on the lever. Like we'll try to design a lever, using whatever concept we have learned today. Okay. So we have first of all we know what is lever. Then what are different classes of lever: class 1, class 2, class 3, and how to calculate forces in those, right? So the procedure for design of the lever is very simple. It's a 3-step process. First we have to do force analysis, right? On the lever there will be a fulcrum, load and effort, right? So we need to know load. If we know load, we can find out the effort required by calculating the moments, balancing the moments, right? And also we have to find out the reaction at the fulcrum pin. That reaction will be used to calculate the bearing pressure and to find out the dimensions of the pin, right? So we need to know the forces, effort, load and reaction at the fulcrum pin, and use those forces now to design the lever arm and design the fulcrum pin. In the lever arm, we have to design the length and the cross section of the arm. The cross section of the arm will be maybe rectangular, circular, maybe anything, and as per your requirement, and depending on that your eye will change. And because lever arm will bend, so the failure of the lever arm will be because of the bending, right? So we use the bending equation mb upon m upon I, mb, bending moment upon I is equal to sigma b upon y, right? So if we know bending moment, if we know I, and if we know sigma b, we can find out the dimensions of the lever arm. So in the second step, we have to design the lever arm, that is we have to find out the cross section of the arm and the length. And in the last stage, we have to find out the dimensions of the fulcrum pin. So basically diameter of the pin and thickness or length of the pin, right? So for that, whatever we discussed in previous class, we will calculate the reaction at the fulcrum pin. We use that R to calculate different kinds of forces, and it might fail because of the shear or it might fail because of the crushing. That's how we'll do check. We'll check for the failure, or we will find out the dimensions using the crushing failure, and we will check whether it is safe in the shear, or we can do vice versa, calculate the dimensions using shear and check in the crushing. But in the third stage, we will calculate the dimensions of the fulcrum pin, right, and then the dimensions of the boss. So these are the steps which we will use for the design of the lever. Now we'll take actual example of numerical for the design of the lever. Let me just see whether it is visible to you guys. Yes, I hope it is visible. Okay, so it is now here requirement is we have to design a lever, which is basically, I just want to make sure that it is completely visible. Okay, so we have to design a lever. Now this is a numerical given that we have to design a bell-like lever. Bell-like is on the same axis, they might have some angle between them. In this case, it is a right angle bell crank lever, which means that this angle is 90 degree, right? So they are perpendicular to each other, two arms of the lever, right? So we have to design this lever. Now it is given that the load is this is the load arm, this is the effort arm, right? So because effort arm has to be less, right, and load arm has to be more, to have mechanical advantage, right? So now if you see this example, you see that the ratio or the mechanical advantage we are getting is 450 by 100. So whatever load we are going to lift, we will have 4.5 times less effort required for that. Or we can, with the if we consider the effort, we can pick up or lift a load which is 4.5 times, because it is 450 upon 100, right? This is N2/N1. This is leverage. Mechanical advantage we will get as 4.5. So with the effort, we can lift up to 4.5 times load, right? That is the advantage. By looking at the diagram, we get that. Now, so let's try to go through the problem of the numerical. Now we have to design a right angle bell crank lever, or we have right angle bell crank lever is given. We have to find out few things. Now it is the load is 5 kilonewton actually. Load is 5 kilonewton, and at the short term. So here it is basically we are mechanical advantage is not more. This is now load, and this is effort we are going to do, right? So here because effort arm is more, so we have given the mechanical advantage of 4.5 as we talked about it. So the load is 5 kilonewton. We have to lift the load is 5 kilonewton. So just try to just think of what kind of effort you will need, or how much effort you will need to lift a load of 5 kilonewton. This is not asking the problem, but just just to make sure. So let's say if W upon or like say if you calculate moment, so 5 into moment at this 5 into 100 is equal to, this is 5 kilonewton. So it is P into 450. So we'll get P is equal to 5 into 100 upon 450. So we'll get 50 upon 450. So basically it is 10 by 9. Maybe to 1.11 or something. So we will need an effort of 1.11 kilonewton. And just we might do it again a calculation, but just to show you that we will need much less effort compared to the load because of this mechanical advantage of 4.5, right? So, okay, now let's try to go through the problem. See, my general habit is that while going through the problem itself, we'll try to go through few steps, right? So, now load is 5 kilonewton. So, what is given? Given first. Now we have load W is 5 into 10 to 3 Newton. Okay, so this thing is given. Now, what is given as made of steel 30 Ca SYT. So, SYT is given as 400 Newton per mm square, right? And factor of safety as 5. So with that immediately we know what is the working stress. What is the sigma T? 400 upon 5, 80 Newton per mm square. What is tau? 0.5 into 400 by 5. So 80 into 0.5 is 40 Newton per mm square. So we know now tau is 40 Newton per mm square. We know sigma is 80 Newton per mm square. We know sigma C is 80 Newton per mm square. So with these two we got the working stresses. Right. Now the allowable bearing pressure for the pin is 10 Newton per. So we have given P. Means with the fulcrum pin, what are we going to design, right? It will, in that pin allowable bearing pressure is 10 Newton per mm square. That is 10 Newton per mm square. So this is now, we already know this P. We know now in this step we can calculate tau, sigma T and sigma C. We know P. So we can design now fulcrum P. Okay. Now the your arm is having a rectangular cross section and width to thickness ratio is 3:1. Right. So thickness to width to thickness ratio is 3:1 is given. Width upon that. This is now for thickness 3:3/1. This is given for the pin. Okay. And for the fulcrum pin, length to diameter ratio. So L1 upon D1, length to diameter ratio is 1.25 upon 1. So L1 length of the fulcrum pin. This pin now, this kind of pin, this length is 1.25 times of the diameter. So these are the things which are given, and we have to calculate diameter and T and L for the pin. So for pin we have to calculate. So we have to find out. Let's okay, let me just write this thing here. L1 upon D1 is equal to 1.25. We have to find out L1. Calculate L1, D1. What else we have to calculate? Shear stress in the pin, tau. Then dimensions of the gauze. This L and D. Right. Then dimension of the cross section of the lever. So we have to calculate D and thickness and. So these are the things which we will need to calculate. So we'll see now. First, we'll follow these steps. Whatever we discussed when we started the lecture. That we will be following these three steps. We will be calculating forces first, and then we will use the calculation of the doing the design of the lever. Okay. Now let's start and do the design of the lever. Okay. Now first we will whenever we start any design, first step what we'll find out the permissible or allowable stresses. Calculate allowable stresses, right? So what are the allowable stresses? First, sigma T is equal to SYT upon FYS. So we get it as 400 upon 5, 80 Newton per mm square. Sigma C is consistent with our Newton per mm square, right? So tau is equal to 0.5 into SYT upon FOS. So we get at 0.5 into 400 upon 5. So we get 40 Newton per mm square. And we already know that allowable bearing pressure is 10 Newton per mm square. So these are the allowable stresses which we have. So let's try to write it somewhere. Where we will write. Just try to reduce this thing. 5 into 10 into 3 Newton per mm square. Right. SYT is 400 Newton per mm square. Here I will write. Now allowable sigma T we got as 80 Newton per mm square. Then sigma C we got as 80 Newton per mm square. And tau we got as 40 Newton per mm square. So these are the allowable stresses which we got, which we use for the. Okay. Okay. Now, what is given is we have to find out we have to calculate the forces. Now we know, that the load which we are going to lift is 5 kilonewton, right? So we have to know now. Actually, we did quickly. We just try to find out what is the force, or taking moments at fulcrum, right? What we got? 5 into 10 raised to 3 into 100 is equal to P into 450. So we got P with that 1.111 into 10 raised to 3 Newton. Right? So this is the effort the effort we require is 1.111 or 111 Newton, right? So now we will try to find out R. Now because it is a right angle bell crank lever, right? So R is basically that perpendicular to the reaction. Sorry, the R, to calculate R we have to find out P and load and effort. We know both of them, so we can calculate by simply taking the square and square root of it. It is 1.11, or we can have 1111 square plus 5000 square and square root of that. So with that, the R we get is 5121.97. 5121.97. So now we know that the reaction at R, the load or the bearing load at the fulcrum pin R is 5121 Newton or 5.121 kilonewton, right? Now we will use this R to calculate the dimensions of the fulcrum pin. Now how you will say the bearing pressure P is equal to P at the this is the fulcrum pin, right? Now this is D1, this is L1, right? So this is the dimensions of the fulcrum pin are L1 into D1. Now see this, we have given a ratio, right? I think the D1 and L1 ratio is given. It is 1. L1 is 1.25 times of D1. L1 is 1.25 times of D1, right? So we know this. Now bearing pressure at this fulcrum pin. This is the cross section of the fulcrum, right? So which will have bearing pressure or R. We are taking that. So if we are to find out the stress, bearing pressure of the stress is P is equal to load upon area, right? So what is the load here? Load is R. What is the area? This is D1, this is L1. So L1, D1. Right? So we can say reaction R is equal to P into L1, D1. Right? So using this formula we can calculate now the dimensions. Now we know L1 is, so we know R is what? We got 1111, right? P is given as 10 number ampere square. L1 is L1 is 1.25 times of D1 into D1. Are you getting it? So basically this is 1.25. So 1111 1.25 into 10 is 12.5 D1 square. So D1 is equal to 1111 divided by 12.5 the root of it. Right? Let me just verify. Oh, so this R is, no, this is not 1. This is R we got is 5.1. 5.1, what was that we got? 5.121. This is P, not effort. We have to use R. The reaction will be calculated 5.121. So this will be 5.121 divided by 12.5. Okay, and so with that we will get I think value of D1 as 20.24. 20.24. Okay. Should I write it down? Let me just erase this thing. So what we got is now we got R as 5121 point. What was that we got? 5121.97. Right? 97 Newton. Then we got now D1 as 20.24 mm and L1 is 1.25 times of D1. So L1 is 1.25 times of D1. So which is basically, which comes down to 25.30. 25.30 mm. So these are the dimensions. So we got now for the fulcrum pin, we got the dimension L1. The length of the fulcrum pin will be 25.30. The diameter of the fulcrum pin will be 22, and reaction R. Fulcrum pin is 5121.97, right? So now we have got the dimensions. We have found out L1, we find out D1. Now try to find out the shear stress at the fulcrum pin. Now just this is the fulcrum pin, right? And this is the diameter D1. Okay, now in this case L1 will not matter. But now this fulcrum pin will be, if it fails, it will come down like this. It will have a shear, and this center part will come out like this. Right? So this is if it undergoes shear, this thing will come out, the center part, and this is the area which is going to resist the shearing failure. Now what is this area? Pi by 4 d1 square, right? But it will be a double shear, so it is multiplied by 2. Right? So now your fulcrum pin will, the shear stress, if you have to find out the shear stress tau is equal to P upon A. Right? So shear stress at fulcrum pin is P. What is the load? Load is R. And this is fulcrum pin, right? The fulcrum pin load is 5121.97, and area which is resisting or opposing that shear, double shear is 2 into pi by 4 into d1 square. What is d1? 20.24 square. Right? So with that, we get 7.96. How is 7.96? So this is the shear stress at the. So we got now shear stress at the fulcrum pin. Okay. Now this fulcrum pin will have a shear stress of tau of what we got 7.96 Newton per centimeter square. So we calculated the second part now. So we calculated dimensions of the fulcrum pin. We calculated stress at the fulcrum pin. Right? Now what is next? Now we have to find out the dimensions of the boss. Dimensions of the boss is now boss means around. This is the fulcrum pin. Around that there will be a boss, right? Like this. This is the fulcrum pin. So this diameter, inside diameter of boss will be now. This is inside diameter will be whatever we do. This is 21, so we'll have 21 mm. Right? Now outside diameter of boss will be double of it. Right? We take twice of that diameter, so which is 42 mm. 42 mm. Right? And now what is the dimension of this boss? Length of boss is 26 mm. Right? So now we have found out the dimensions of whatever fulcrum pin we designed, right? The length and inside diameter will be same for the boss. Only thing, the outside diameter will be double of the inside diameter. Right? So we have calculated now dimensions of the boss. The boss is kind of cylinder, so it have an inside diameter which is the diameter of your fulcrum pin, outside diameter twice of it, and length of the boss is length of your fulcrum pin. So we approximated it and we took 26 mm. Right? So we have calculated dimensions of the boss as well. Third part of the question. So now we completed 3 parts. We have to find out now how we have to calculate the last part. We have to find out the calculate the dimensions of the fulcrum arm. This arm of the lever, right? So what we found out? We found out length of the fulcrum pin. We found out diameter of the fulcrum pin, right? And so with this fulcrum pin is ready. We found out that your length and diameter of the boss. So our boss is ready. Now we found out the shear stress in the fulcrum pin, now 0.96, right? So now only thing remaining is now our calculation of finding out the arm. So now actually this is the lever arm. I'm just taking only some part of it, and this is a cross section. Now this is a rectangular cross section, so it is we have given the ratio is 3 times. So this is thickness and this is height, right? The ratio of this width to thickness is 3:1. So width is 3 times more than the So right, whatever symbol we use is D is equal to 3B. D is equal to what symbol we are using? D is equal to 3B. Right? Width, thickness is B and its height is B. Right? So it's we use this ratio to calculate the what is the cross section. Now say for the failure of the lever arm will be because of the bending. So now we have to find out the cross section of the dimensions of this lever arm. So how we will calculate? We use bending equation m upon I is equal to mb upon I is equal to sigma b upon y. So this y is now, this is your neutral axis. This will be your y, right? So sigma b is equal to mb upon I into y. Now bending moment we have to find out. We have to find out moment of inertia, and we have to find out y and sigma. So if we know these things, we can calculate the dimension. Because I will have dimensions, y will have dimensions. We have to find out mb and sigma b. Right? So using these values, we can calculate now the dimension. Because we know for the moment of inertia, what is the see, I for rectangular cross section is I think is a b cube by 12, right? So a b cube by 12, that is the formula we use generally. So in this case, it is this thing is I is b into 3b cube upon 12, right? Let me just verify. Okay. So this is because here this is 3b and this is b. The ratio is given, right? So this is the I. Now y is equal to half of or 3b by 2, 1.5. Half of this. This distance is 1.5. So we know now I in terms of b. We know y in terms of b. Sigma b and sigma b we have to calculate. So what is sigma b? Sigma b is given. Sigma b is sigma. You are basically this is that sigma b. This is sigma d is equal to sigma b. However, and mb is bending moment. Now bending moment of this pin at the fulcrum. What is the bending moment? This is failure will be happening here or here, and their bending moment is load into distance. So mb is p into l. That is say 5 into 3 into 100. So this is bending moment, right? So now we will use now. So now what we know now? We know sigma b, we know mb, we know how I in terms of b, we know y in terms of b. And we will combine all these three to so that we will have everything in terms of b, right? So let's start to put that here. Okay, let me just write this equation down. Again, sigma b is equal to mb upon I into y. Let's write down values one by one. mb is sigma b is 80, right? Is equal to 5 into 10 to 3 into 100 mb, right? Upon I b into 3b cube upon 12, right? Into y is 1.5. Right? I think I have, let me just verify whether I have written everything so is proper 1.12 b into, okay, so I think we are fine. 1.5 p, okay, so we are fine. So now we will try to solve this problem or try to solve this equation. We will get in terms of b. Now this will go up, it will be multiplied. This will be 3, 9, 27 b raised to 4. So this thing will be 27 b raised to 4. This will cancel, this will be b cube, this will go up, and ultimately we will get answer for the b as 16.09. 16.09. So we got the thickness of this thing as 16.39, and you